it was fun because it was something totally different from what we're used to. You know?
So you enjoyed it. That's what you're saying. You, Tasker and Wags, you enjoyed the fact that was not on the show last week. That's okay. I'm a big boy.
We just imagined you. We just imagined you chasing down medications with tequila again. So we figured at that point you were probably face down in the sand, and KB and Drew and Zabe were all running over the top of you or something like that.
So you guys want to hear it? This is 100% true. So I told you that story, right? So Monday of the week when we're leaving for Jamaica, I get a cold.
Yep.
Wednesday, it's bad enough I go to the doctor and I have COVID.
No.
Yes, right. So I go and get my medicine ahead of time. So by the time we left, I was not 100%, but I didn't rely on any Jamaican medicine this time. Yeah. I bought some medicine in the States, and I actually had a good week. It was good. Yeah. But I'm thinking, my wife is looking at me, and she's like, do not do this to me again. Yes.
Yeah.
Have either one of you guys been to Jamaica?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Well, you've been to Jamaica, Wags, right?
Yeah. Yes, I've been there.
So what did you think of Jamaica when you were there?
I love it. I actually do. We always flew into, I don't know how many airports, flying to Montego Bay, take the shore, stopped. We stayed at a few different places. I really do enjoy Jamaica. I have a good time there. I always did. I was obviously a lot younger and dumber, but I had a good time. I liked it. I liked the vibe. I liked everything about it. And I definitely go there again.
And again, primarily in these trips with Zabe, we've been in Mexico, right? You know,
right,
up and down the coast and stuff like that. This is the first time. I think we did one in the Dominican, and then this one was in Jamaica. I would go back to Jamaica again and again and again. I mean, it was just, it was beautiful. The food was outstanding. The people were so cool. One of the things that was, when you travel abroad, more often than not, and you're not going to hear English, right? That's not going to be the native language. Well, it was in Jamaica, which was interesting, you know, because you're expecting, typically it's Spanish, you know, and but the people were great, the resort was great, the food was great. That was the first time, as I said, I'd been to Jamaica, and I'd go back again. It was beautiful. Fantastic.
I think that's a good point. That's a good point, where the English, the dialect, or the pronunciations, or the little French accent that you
there's a little French that's sprinkled into this, but even
you can understand it.
Even all the signage, all the billboards in the airport, everything is in English. Not that it has to be, but you know, typically when I've done these trips, it's not. So it's like, whoa, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I mean, it was great. The people on the trip were outstanding. One of the things that we had a lot of, when I go in places like this, I do a lot of seafood. I don't know if you guys are big seafood guys. I love me some seafood. Wags, I think I probably ate a dozen sea bass over a week.
Wow. That was the main staple for Tim.
You ever do that where you go in one of these resorts, and again, I'm lucky I get to go, but you find something that's just like unbelievable, and you're like, man, I don't mind going back and having that again. The sea bass was amazing. Scallops were amazing. The shrimp was amazing. All of it is because you're right there in the Caribbean. Everything's fresh. Yeah. It was awesome. It was really, really, I highly recommend it.
It does. It happens that way. There's so many options, so much good food, but you find something, you're like, maybe I'll just try that again and again and again and again. And next thing you know, that's all you ate, and because you enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, it was interesting, too. We got into one of the guys that helped us every day with the broadcast was Zabe. We talked about, and he's a native Jamaican, and we talked about sports. And I knew that soccer, obviously, that they would play that there. But I said, because of where you're located, I mean, Jamaica, if I'm right on this, like Cuba is like 80 miles away from them. You know, it's across the the Caribbean. But the point I'm trying to make is they don't play baseball at all there. Baseball is not.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I said, I just assumed that people down here would play baseball. And he said, no, we don't. They play cricket is incredibly big there.
Yeah.
Obviously soccer, but sprinting, track and field. This is the home of Usain Bolt.
Huge.
And I said, well, explain to me the movie about, Cool Runnings, Jamaican bobsledding.
I was going to ask.
That's what I was laughing at.
That's what I was waiting for. How many times did the Jamaican bobsled team come up last week?
Well, you know why it came up? You've seen the movie, the backstory in this. It's because they were sprinters.
Yeah.
That's why, because they were going to go fast.
Wow.
That's why. But I just, and again, I thought that, there'd be a little bit of baseball down their Wags. But there's not at all.
Yeah, that surprises me as well. I didn't think it was a major, but I thought they played it a little bit more.
You know what, though, Wags? See, I planted the seed for you. That's opportunity now. You have a wide open country
Wags,
that's willing to embrace this. The Paul Wagner School of Jamaican Baseball. Boom, right there.
Wags, I thought you were going to say we've got a Jamaican pitcher coming in this year. But
no, but our center fielder, who was a Brewer farmhand last year, got released from Nashville. Xavi is Jamaican, so there is Jamaican baseball. He was Jamaican.
Well,
unless he was Jamaican me crazy and faking it, but
I'm just saying, Paul, right there, buddy, right there. That is a country waiting to embrace you in the sport of baseball with open
specifically.
Arms. Right?
Oh, that's good.
Be like, yeah, we're going to stick to sprinting. Wagner, you stay home.
Well, the other thing, too, is that there's, at least where we were at, there's only 2 beers, 2 brands, and that's it. Want to guess? Red Stripe, obviously. And the other one, it's the beer of choice across the world, Miller Lite. So that was the 2 you had. It was either Red Stripe or it was Miller Lite.
Okay. Well, you can work with that.
And you can do a Red Stripe, the lager. You can do a Red Stripe, the light.
Yeah.
If you want to. I just did a lot of Red Stripe.
Yeah. Well, why not? Well, one in Rome, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like you got
exactly.
That's good.
We want to talk, and again, normally we will talk about events coming in a week or 2 in advance, just because of things that happen within the show. Huge weekend in the city of Milwaukee, and I know we're in Madison now, and we welcome in those listeners as well. We appreciate you staying with us for the hour here on 1070 The Game. But here in Milwaukee, and it's more of the Milwaukee Sports Show. I mean, all 3 of us are born and raised here in Wisconsin. And Wags, we're older than Erik. The Milwaukee Sports Show has been around forever, and this is the big weekend for it, isn't it?
Absolutely. And with Mark coming on, I think it's going to be exciting, as you said earlier in a pre-talk with him, how anxious and excited he is. He's amped up, he's ready, and the excitement just seems to what you were displaying to us is that he's just fired up to go from city to city to tell what he loves, fishing, whatever it is about, he loves to do it, and he's going to tell you everything he can.
So we have gone to these shows now. I mean, we try and go every year. It's like my thing that I do with my dad. And I think we talk about it over and over again in this first quarter of the year that this is kind of the forward launching momentum into our springs and into our summers.
Yeah, Billy was talking about this week about the RV show that was last weekend. And I kind of pulled him aside and I said, okay, if you're really serious about this, I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, you've got it. You've got a veteran here.
I got plenty of experience behind the wheel, if you know what I mean. But to your point, you're right. It's the RV shows. It's the fishing shows. I mean, spring is just around the corner.
It's so exciting, and it's as a dog owner, it's the ugliest time of the year because everything is gray, everything is sloppy, but it's the season of change and it's a season of transition. Wags, you and I were just talking before we got on here that, spring turkey tags are available now that if you were selected for yours, you can buy yours. And then, the week of the 17th through the 20th or 21st is the extra tags. So it's a really exciting time. I think we're starting to build that momentum again. It feels like the momentum of maybe like end of July, August, as we're kind of getting into deer season. It's like all of these summer things are starting to come around and these spring things are starting to come around. And the weather is starting to turn, so we're getting some of that sunshine.
Supposed to be, what, mid-60s?
I saw 58 2 days next week. Yeah. So it's coming, and soon enough, Wags will be out there slaving away and giving us the hey buddy calls to come do the food plot.
I'm stuck again with the ATV.
I'm stuck out here. So
you know what else is coming, fellas? And I'd love to get your opinion on this. Sunday at 2 a.m. Daylight savings time is here, right? This is why America voted overwhelmingly for President Trump, as I read online here at Google.com. The president has expressed interest in eliminating daylight savings time, and Congress is considering bills to make the change permanent. Now, Kroger stores, which that's isn't Kroger on Pick and Save, Metro Market, that type of stuff? Yep. They're offering free breakfast boxes and coupons to help people adjust to the time change.
Wow, how nice.
There you go.
Look at that. Daylight savings this is strictly a farm. This was for the farmers. Is this correct? Was that false information I received?
I don't know. We'll go with it, though.
Why was it ever incorporated?
To
give us more sunlight in the summer?
That's why my understanding. Again, you know.
Okay, in America, daylight savings time first became official in 1918, March 19th, 1918, when the Standard Time Act was signed into law. It allowed for additional daylight hours to be added into the day to help save energy costs during World War I.
Oh, okay.
It also, along with this Standard Time Act, it established the 5 time zones that we now know as, East to West Coast. So, yeah, how about that? Yeah, okay. So we're just going to get rid of it and we're just going to stay on the 1 hour then?
Well, there's 2 states, that don't observe this.
Arizona.
And Hawaii.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I've never really looked into it, but my thought would be let's just meet halfway and just do the half-hour thing. But then the rest of the world would also have to adapt that, I guess.
It's weird because
I'm also, if we're going to do that, why don't we let's just adopt the 4-day work week. I like that.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, there you go. You weren't in that meeting I was in this week, Eric. That's not going to happen. We haven't hit budget yet. In the last 6 years, 20 states have passed legislations or resolutions supporting year-round daylight savings time. In 2024, at least 30 states considered or are still considering legislation related to daylight savings time. Now, what's interesting about this, the Uniform Time Act of 1966 mandates that the country use daylight savings time, but it allows states to opt out and exempt themselves from the practice of staying on standard time year-round. So,
okay.
So they said, hey, you have to do it. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to.
You can opt out.
You can opt out, right.
So 4% or whatever that is, 8% of our states decided not to. 2 out of, wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, we always look at the wildlife, how it affects that.
Yeah.
When that comes in the beginning of November or whenever that is, it's dark at 5 o'clock. How nice would it be to know that we could hunt till 6 o'clock?
It'll be awesome.
Well, you know what I don't like about it, Wags, is come around to turkey season and all of a sudden you got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to be out in your ground blind by 4:30.
I know.
It's crazy. It's like how freaking early do you need to get up just to get out there? And it seems so unconventional because sunrise is so early.
Well, here's the other thing too. This is the bummer about this whole deal. Okay, so the last 3 or 4 days, it gets light about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Monday morning, when you get up, it's going to be dark again.
Yeah.
It's going to be dark.
Yeah, you go backwards, and it's probably, I don't know, a couple weeks, 3 weeks or whatever it is. But it's not great.
We want to wrap this segment up because we urge you to hang on through the break. Because one of the coolest cats in the outdoors, he's a legend, is going to be in town in Milwaukee on Sunday, part of the, as we talked about, the Milwaukee Sports Show. You know who Mark Zona is. I mean, if you don't, if you watched the fishing show, if you watched it on ESPN back in the day, the Outdoor Channel, This guy's in the Bassmasters Elite Series. He's a legend in the biz, and we got him. And so Mark's going to join us next. He's going to get you pumped up for the Chicago Bears. I didn't realize this. This guy is a diehard Chicago Bear fan. Who the hell booked this guy? We're the flagship of the Green Bay Packers in Milwaukee. What were we thinking, Eric?
Well, we're going to make him eat crow right off the bat. How about that?
That?
We'll just make sure that we get that out of the way.
We'll do that, all right. One of the legends, one of the icons in the business, and he is in town this weekend. He is the Mark Zona. Mark, welcome to Tailgate Talk. How are you, brother? Good to have you on the show.
Guys, seriously, thank you for having me on. And it's that what I always say. It's that weird in between time of year. We're not quite Major League Baseball. We're not quite NFL draft. So let's talk fishing and hunting and see everybody at the Milwaukee Sports Show.
Yeah, I've got a really good buddy of mine, John Resnick, who's on the Clam team, and he does. It's funny, we go back and forth all the time. I live out in Oconomowoc, and I drive past some of the lakes at various points throughout the day, and for the last couple of months, it's been, the ice is starting to creep in. Well, now we're on the backside of that conversation, and we're talking about, the shore is starting to open up. We got 10 feet of open water.
Let's go.
And, it's coming. And, kind of the key to turning into spring is all of these shows that we got coming up. So you just got to be chomping at the bit.
Well, what's weird is, guys, I'm lucky, man. This is horrible to say, but let me just... Let's get it out right now. Full disclosure, I'm the biggest Chicago Bears fan on planet Earth.
Thanks, Mark, for being on the show.
I know. That's not the way you ever want to start off an interview in Milwaukee. Give me a break. In all honesty, I cut my teeth. Bass, even though I've hosted the Bassmaster for two decades, and I get to tape, a lot of my shows down south. What a lot of people don't know, you guys do, your listeners know this, the best bass fishing, just fishing all around, is right outside of our door in the Midwest. From where I live across the lake in Michigan to where you guys are, all the way up to Ashwaubenon. I'm not scared to use that word. It is some of the best fishing that the country has to offer, and that's why this is no joke. I thought about this the last couple days, is the majority of my fishing shows through the Midwest, they are taped right in the state of Wisconsin. So, hey, coming to the Milwaukee Sports Show, I get to talk about the type of fishing that we all do, which is, again, it's absolutely world-class all the way from Milwaukee up to Door County.
It's interesting you mentioned this, because where you're at this weekend with the Milwaukee Sports Show, I mean, I'm in my 50s. I grew up in this state, born and raised. This sports show has been around forever. It's been around forever. And
forever.
And so it's you talk about the staple of you and your shows and fishing here in Wisconsin and the Midwest. It's kind of what this sports show is too, isn't it?
One of the things that's really, really funny, I'm going to give you a quick Milwaukee harbor story. You guys know there's some of the best salmon fishing, brown trout fishing right in the harbor, right? Okay. It's widely known. It's world class. This is a true story that I taped years ago for ESPN, and I taped with a local angler there. His name's Erik Tasker. And he didn't want to give the area he didn't want to give his secrets out. This is no joke. We're in the harbor taping this fishing show, and we're crushing them. Giant brown trout, giant king salmon. And he looks at me, and this is no joke. I'll never forget this. In 21 years of hundreds of shows, he goes, Zona, is there any way we can edit out the high rises in the background? I'm like, no. That's not possible. There's a reason it's called a high rise. But it's always a fond memory of coming to Milwaukee. But you're right. The sports show has been around for so many years. And the great thing is, kind of being, there's not really ice, but there's a little bit of ice left. But spring kind of, weirdly enough, spring arrives, I think, on Monday or Tuesday next week. And, hey, I'm going to be there Sunday. Somebody's going to win a unbelievable smallmouth trip with me on Lake St. Clair in Detroit. And, going to be a big weekend, and everybody definitely bring your family out.
Hey, I don't want to switch subjects, but since you brought up smallmouth and taking a nice trip with you that we'll get into in a little bit here, you got to tell me, what's your favorite memory about fishing the Bay of Green Bay? I know there's probably 100 videos of you on YouTube of you doing that up there, and we know that is a world-class destination for smallmouth bass. What if you could just give us a quick story about that and just maybe what that bay means to you?
You know what's weird is, guys, I mean this, as many smallmouth shows as I've taped up there, it was not a smallmouth memory. I came there one time a long while back in between, oh my gosh, it was in between Halloween and Thanksgiving. And when I say the giant trophy muskie were in the bay, just outside of the river, right? And I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Fox River? Is that Fox River?
Yes.
Yes, I think so, yes.
Right. So basically, we came out of the river, and whenever you tape a muskie show, it's almost like taping a trophy deer hunting show. You're either going to be a hero or a total loser.
Or you don't have any footage. Yeah.
Right. Here's the best way to put it. We are sucking. Okay, and I had already done so many smallmouth shows. I'm like, dude, I'm not letting Green Bay, I'm not letting Wisconsin down. And at the end of the day, I ended up catching a 51-incher with my buddy Pete Mena on camera. Heck, you could take a 51-incher. It's like the movie Jaws and Quint. You could replay that dang thing for 22 minutes, and for only catching, gosh, I think we caught 2 muskie in that show. But to catch, deer hunting equivalent, it's like shooting a 12-point buck.
Yeah.
Boy, here's what I can say. From a production standpoint, it was one of those fish catches. They had to edit out so much of what came out of our mouth after landing that fish. It was a memory I will not forget.
Oh, that's great.
Mark Zona is our guest. He's going to be part of the Milwaukee Sports Show, as he said, on Sunday. He's going to be doing his stuff. So you have a passion for this. I mean, you've risen to the highest level in the sport. You've made a career out of this. So take me back to the beginning. I know you're a Bears fan, so obviously you have Midwest roots. How did this all begin for Mark Zona?
Man, I was a south side of Chicago, shortstop, playing Little League every day, and my parents ended up buying a small cabin in Southwest Michigan. And guys, this is no joke. I won my first tournament at the age of 10, and I think I won like $2,700. And I literally retired from Little League the very next day. So back in the day, so this is the early to mid 80s. I'm a 50-something-year-old. I'll never forget walking. I got dropped off after the tournament, and I got a stack of C notes. I got a pile of hundreds. If you have an Italian father, he automatically raises a red flag. Where did you get this money from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's honestly what started my career path. Was that little? It was. I'll never forget it. It was August 7th, 1983. I won that tournament, and in some way, shape, or form, I knew all the way back then that I was going to bust my rear end to work in the fishing industry. What did I ever? I don't want this. Did I ever imagine it would have ended up what it is now? No, there's no way. And what's funny is, going back to my father, I'm shed hunting behind his house right now. Is my father worked for Illinois Bell, and he said, hey, when you graduate high school, you're going to work for Illinois Bell. And I said, Dad, I'm gonna go bass fishing. He's like, you know what? You take 5 days off and you go bass fishing, and then you get back to work. It's funny because him and I sit, on his couch every now and then. He's like, dang, thank God you went bass fishing. So it all worked out.
The thing is, it's funny how it worked out, and you talked about when you were that age and you won your first tournament. Who would have thought it would have become? I mean, for example, your show is on the Outdoor Channel. I mean, who would have thought that there would be a channel that's dedicated strictly to the outdoors. I mean, the industry and what it's become, it's amazing. It's mind-boggling at times, isn't it?
You know, it's strange because I've worked for ESPN, I worked for Fox, and obviously, you know, my show originated on ESPN and then went to Outdoor Channel. But what's funny is a lot of the content now, there's a lot of live content, which scares the fire out of me. But I got used to doing live content. But who would have guessed that? You know, who would have guessed, you know, some knucklehead from the south side of Chicago fishing, you know, trespassing on every country club lake as a teenager would have ended up on the Outdoor Channel. Like but a lot of my relatives to this day are still thoroughly confused on what I actually do from a living, being that they're all from Chicago. Like, they're thoroughly confused that I bass fish for a living.
So speaking of your live content, let's transition a little bit into the show. So you mentioned your buddy Pete Mena, Tim Andrus is going to be there, Christine Fisher, who's probably one of the most famous kayak anglers on any social media platform, and yourself. You guys are going to be doing some talks, and what's your mindset going into that? Is there a specific topic you're going to be talking about and that you're going to give away some of the trade secrets on, or what can people expect from you guys this weekend?
You know what's weird, and your listeners, you guys know this, is we have world-class fisheries in Wisconsin and Illinois and Michigan. But what's funny is, with our limited time to fish, when the ice comes off, what I always say is the Memorial Day, Labor Day effect of our lakes get so heavily pressured because we only have so much time to get out in the water, enjoy summer, you know, so on and so forth. And our fish, as great as our lakes are, our fish get pretty darn intelligent by the 4th of July. They have seen every shade of a plastic worm or a jig. And that's when what I do a lot on my show and a lot of my content is I go to predominantly public fisheries when they're being throttled, when they're getting a lot of pressure. And it's more of a show me, you don't tell me situation. If you can catch them on a lot of our Midwest lakes from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and that's what my seminar will be all about, pressured lakes and finesse fishing.
So let me ask you this. If you allowed us into your home, would we see more than 5 or less than 5 fish mounts on your wall?
I can promise you there's 30 deer heads hanging out.
I like the way that sounds.
This is horrible to say this. I fish professionally, so I could pretend I'm a professional deer hunter in November.
Right.
But you know, I am not a fish mounter. I have, I think, 3 that really meant something to me, but I don't want this to sound like really crazy and bizarre. To me, mounting a fish would be like killing a coworker, and I can't do that. Like the fish take care of me.
Well, and I think that part of that too is that, you know, you've seen thousands of nice smallmouth, largemouth, whatever that is. So to even settle on that, you know, for Erik and Tim, we go out and all of a sudden we catch a 7 or 8 pound bass. We're like, well, this is a nice looking fish. We're going to put this on the wall. And you're like, well, we're going to see another one next weekend.
Yeah, I guess, you know, and that's why a lot of it, to be honest, like I said, I'm walking in my dad's house. A lot of what I do now is I have replicas. I do the length and the girth. And here's what's really bizarre about a replica. Like when the muskie that I just told you guys about that we caught out on Green Bay taping, it was such a critical fish back then because it was like 19 years ago, guys. It was such a critical fish. And I closed my eyes. We needed it so bad. The production calculator was running those couple days that we were fishing, and to mount that fish to me would have been a disservice to what that fish brought to my life. So I did no joke, I did a length and girth replica of a business out of Wisconsin. I think the dude does I think he does the best replicas, and that fish, hey, that fish went back to swim in Green Bay, and I got a replica and a mount on the wall that looks as good, if not better now than the day I caught that.
Awesome.
Fish.
All right, real quick, want to wrap this up. Mark, thank you for joining us for a few minutes today. We want to plug, again, 1 o'clock Sunday, you're chasing the giant bass. You're going to be on the Mercury Marine Hog Trough stage. Tell us a little bit about what people are going to see and hear from you this weekend.
Well, the guy that runs that Mercury Hog Trough always tells me, I've seen him 10 times so far this spring, he always tells me, hey, don't hook my pets, don't hook my bass. Guys, my plan when I get there at 1 o'clock is to punch a hole in every single one of those bass. Listen, it's been a long winter, and I'm not going to see those bass till next year when I'm back on the Mercury tank. I'm going to make sure they remember me until next January.
Good stuff. Hey, Mark, thank you for joining us for a few minutes today. We love what you do. Just keep doing it, all right?
Y'all are the best. And let me ask one quick question. Where, this is critical for me, where do the Packers go with their first-round pick? Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Don't be surprised if they trade it.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors swirling around what this draft is going to hold for.
You know what's going to happen? Hey, it's really simple. We're going to trade it to the Seahawks, and we're going to get DK Metcalf. That's what we're going to do.
We need to end this interview right now. I do not want to hear that. No.
Megatron V2.
You go enjoy your 34-year-old, $30 million guard you just got from the Chiefs, all right?
I love you guys. I will talk to you next spring.
Thanks,
Take
Mark.
care, Mark.
Appreciate it. There you go. Lifelong Bears fan, bass fisherman, good dude, Mark Zona. I told you when we started this interview that you better be ready. Up. Badgers getting set. They will wrap up their season, their regular season today. It is senior day at the Kohl Center. Going to be a lot of fun. That broadcast starts at 11 a.m. with Matt and Butchie courtside. We'll tip it off at noon today. Here in Milwaukee, of course, we'll have it for you on the game. And if you're listening to us in Madison this morning, it will happen at 11 o'clock on 1310 WIBA and 101.5 IBA FM. So our friends in Dane County, you need to know about a hidden Milwaukee gem. And the reason I bring it up is if you're here, Erik, they should go there. But there's also a thing called delivery.
Yeah.
So you can order online, can't you?
You sure can.
And this is one of the this is our go-to place when it comes to meat and deli stuff. They're the best. And speaking, of course, of Bunzel's.
Yeah, and I guess for the month of March,
he's got the munchies, Wags.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to talk about it not being Bunzel's, but Bunzel's.
Bunzel's.
Because we're back with the St. Patty's theme. And, they do this monthly meat deal every month, and they change it out. And for those of you from the Madison area, it's the same price as the year, $20.25. And for that price, you get 1 Bunzel corned beef brisket or 2 boneless pork chops, 2 homemade sausages, and you can pick from an Irish banger or a Reuben sausage, a whole or cut up chicken, a pound of ground chuck, and then 2 chicken patties. And you kind of got some options there, so you can go in, pick out whichever ones you'd like better and go from there. But you know what? It's that time of year, and I got a feeling that a lot of people are going to be sitting in front of their TVs or listening to games here in the coming weeks and maybe celebrating for the green Irish holiday. It's that time. And so if you need to pick up some stuff and get ready for the holiday here.
We might have talked about. Go ahead, Wax. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and with March Madness coming up, we're going to watch our Badgers. We're going to watch our Marquettes. We're going to watch our locals. So again, after St. Patrick's Day, we will right into the next weekend. You run into March Madness, so plenty of opportunity to sit by a grill, eat good food, and maybe eat some or drink some of that leftover green beer.
So now, are you a corned beef guy, Wax?
No, not at all.
See, what's wrong with you? Corned beef, man, is delicious.
We talked about this. Remember, I'll do a Reuben roll once in a while. But
yeah. Oh, that's right. I told you where to go to get a good Reuben roll, didn't I? I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. We were talking about this during the break, and Erik, you just used the term. What was it? The time is now turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And I know it's not time to hunt turkeys, But if you're going to get your permits, now's the time. You got to act quickly, right?
Yeah. So if you won in the lottery that we normally all apply for the first week of December, you got your little yellow postcard in the mail. Well, if you were granted a season, there's the 6 seasons and there's 6 seasons.
7.
Oh, is there?
I think.
Oh no, 7 zones. I'm sorry, 7
zones.
zones.
But you can buy your turkey tag now, and I would do that before St. Patty's Day because that week of March 17th through the 20th, I believe, is when all of the other remaining tags are on sale. So make sure to grab those now. But, we're talking about like 6 weeks out now, not even 6 weeks out. Yeah, from period A, the first week of the season for our spring turkey season. So I don't know. I've got a couple buddies that have been sending me pictures. They've got towns that are fanned out and they're strutting around and clucking, and it seems early for that, but at the same time, hey, when nature calls, nature calls. So it's fun to start seeing them all out in the fields. I was taking the dog to the vet. I don't know, I think it was last week or the week before, and I had to stop, and I saw it had to have been 45 turkeys.
Really?
Walking through a cornfield, and I had to stop and watch, and they were kind of approaching the road, and I slowed down and I started to kind of creep forward, and it had to have been 20 of them, half the flock at least, takes off and flies across the road to get to the other cornfield. And these frickin' birds, talk about 25-pound bird, the wings flapping is like whoo, 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 and they're clucking and everything. It got me very excited, and I had to look that up to remember, when can I buy these tags? When is the season coming? And we're kind of through this like kind of lull in our hunting and fishing seasons with the ice going away. So it gives us something to look forward to.
I was reading online this week, Wags, and how long was your bear that you shot years ago? How long were you the state record holder for size?
3rd. I was the 3rd.
Okay.
I don't know how long it was, but it's funny. I don't remember. I don't have that statistic. I don't remember that, but I didn't realize how long ago it really was, because when you go and apply for your turkey tag prior to the December 10th deadline, you also apply for your tag, yep. Whether you want a kill permit or a preference point. And I look back at mine, and I've got 15 preference points. So I shot that in 2010 or 2009. Yeah. But going back up there, the harvests seem to be quicker up in that area, in the Holcomb, the Ladysmith, Tony area. That's where obviously Leonard is from, up in the Tony area. It was good, but these guys are harvesting animals at a rapid rate. Like that first weekend is a huge harvest. I would believe if someone would tell me 90% of bears harvested on the opening weekend is true. Remember, bears season also starts like on a Wednesday. It starts a midweek and then rolls into it. So it's just crazy. I didn't realize how long ago it was and how big some of these animals are getting now. It's not crazy to see 300 to 350 pound bears, because when we originally had talked, and I was talking to DNR officials up there, one of them was Dick Varsho out of Marshfield. Right. And I believe Dick was telling us that he believed that the average black bear in 2015 was 125 pounds. Well, and wow. Don't get me wrong. That's a large. Man, some of these monsters that are getting taken out are 3 times
the size.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason, two reasons why I bring it up. One, the bear side, was because one of the guys that I spent time with on the Sunburn Bowl trip, he hunts bear, bow and arrow, has for years, and he does it up in the Maryland, Wisconsin area, outside of Black River Falls, Hatfield, that area there. But then on the plane ride back, I was reading Outdoor News, and there was a story from the state of Minnesota about, and again, this is not bear, this is deer, but how difficult shooting a trophy buck is, and talking about something that is either measurable for Pope and Young or for Boone and Crockett, right? And they say in the state of Minnesota, for example, only 1 in every 100 bucks killed will score 100 Boone and Crockett inches, right? So I thought that was interesting, but I'm flipping through the story, and they have a picture of Milo Hansen in 1993, and it shows him with his world record whitetail, okay? It says he fired multiple shots from his .308 Winchester to bring down this deer. You want to guess how big this bad boy is? Again, this still, 1993, it's still standing today, so we're going on 28 years.
That's the typical the record, right?
Yeah, that's the typical.
Yes.
I would say it's got to be like 220.
You're close.
Or 225.
213.
I'm going to go yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go 213 and 5/8.
Yeah.
There it is, picture of it. Look at that thing. Look at that thing.
I mean,
it looks huge, too.
Massive.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. As big as the rack is, Eric, I blew it up. Look at the neck on that deer.
Oh, yeah, it's just a tank of a neck. Well, yeah, you got to have a neck to be able to support
Wags,
that thing.
this deer looks like it's wearing a scarf.
Oh, my God.
A thick scarf. No, actually not a scarf. A turtleneck sweater.
Holy cow.
213.
You got the neck brace on. He was just in a car accident, a little whiplash.
I saw something. You were talking about some of the numbers with that. I've read this article a number of times.
Yes.
It's like there's less than a 10% chance or less than 10% of hunters will shoot a buck bigger than 120 inches in their lifetime. So 9 out of 10 hunters of all whitetails across the U.S. will not shoot a deer bigger than 120 inches in their lifetime.
So then
that's across the U.S., though.
Right.
That's the U.S.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, I find that hard to believe in the state of Wisconsin.
How many people have missed a deer that big?
Oh,
It comes stumbling out of the brush, and you're like, oh, my God.
It's definitely the 30-point buck song.
Exactly. So we want to put a bow in this show. I want to remind you, too, if you're coming into Milwaukee this weekend, Milwaukee Sports Show is going on. Special thanks to Mark Zona, who was on with us. His event is on Sunday, Chasing the Giant Bass. He's going to be at the Mercury Marine Hog Trough stage, again at 1 o'clock. Of course, you know him from the Outdoor Channel, ESPN, co-host of the Bassmaster Elite Series. That was a fun interview.
That was good.
It was a fun interview.
Yeah.
So now, real quick as we wrap this up, if you're going to get on the ice, better do it this weekend.
And
I've
double-check.
I've seen temperatures forecast wags around the state. Some spots are going to be in the mid-60s this week. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Wags, I don't know if you've driven by Silver lately, but the probably it's got to be a good 10 to 15 feet of shoreline is all open now. You can't even get out there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's changing quick.
Yeah, because I just saw the guys who were done ice fishing. They went and they took their children over to the Dells. The Tommy Bartlett Water Show starting up next weekend.
There you go. I love that. If you missed any of our, go ahead, Wax. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, one real quick one. I did do a check. The boy's name, the young man's name is Chavez Young. Chavez Young was a center fielder in the Brewer organization last year out of Nashville. When he got released, he is not from Jamaica. He is from the Bahamas.